last year I made the New Year's resolution that I'm going to be making more content on my YouTube channel, and this year I'm going to be focusing a lot more on my website. Now, my website is very basic, as you can see here. There's not really much to it. I have got a blog, and I'm trying to get this to be a massive list by the end of the year. I've got this blog here about why I'm writing in plain text. I was reading this blog online, and I just thought, I'm going to give that a go. I want to see how far I can get with it. So, yeah, and this was written in Markdown before it was put on the web. And I'm going to show you today Markdown. So, Markdown, if you don't know, it was developed by a guy called John Gruber. This is what I read on Wikipedia, so whether this is true or not, I don't know. It was written by a guy called John Gruber in 2004 as a way of writing content for the web, and it was developed for writers, and it's basically abbreviated HTML. So if you know HTML, and you know how writing lists and tables and just basically generally writing is an absolute chore inside HTML, this alleviates a lot of it and makes it a hell of a lot easier. And also, it's not just good for HTML, but it's also good if you're writing simple PDF documents, even Word documents. I'm going to go through how you actually convert all of that later. For this, you'll need a text editor, which I suggest supports syntax highlighting, though it's not required because the idea of it is to be readable anyway. And you'll need an application called Pandoc, which lets you convert documents to different formats. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Nano, and I'm going to do... we'll do test.md. Right, nice and simple. So, let's start off with H tags. So, you have H1 through to 6, and these are handled in Markdown with a hash symbol. Hash for H, in a way. So, a single hash is H1, 2 hashes is H2, 3 hashes is H3, so on and so forth. All the way up to 6. So, this is a title. Nice and simple. That's the first thing. Then you have paragraphs. This is a paragraph of text. You just write it as a normal piece of text that you want to be clearly shown. To make a second paragraph, you just make a break. So, you just press enter twice. A clear line, really, however you want to word it, just make a space between the two paragraphs. This is a second paragraph. It's very easy to write like this. I am also sorry about my mechanical keyboard, but I love it. So, that's how we do paragraphs. It's nice and simple. So, let's get on to basic text formatting. So, basic text formatting you have is bold, italic, and struck through. Now, not a lot of people go underlined, but in HTML, you don't really have that. So, let's start off with bold. The way I like to do bold is with 2 asterisks. Sorry, no. You do bold with 2 asterisks. The way I like to do italic is with an underline. Now, you can do it with a 3. You can do a single asterisk, I think, for italic. But I like to do underline because it makes it less confusing, and I can clearly see then what's italic and what's bold. Because otherwise, I'm just reading asterisks, and I'm like, what the hell does that mean? And you start adding 3 asterisks, which means bold and underlined, and then that just throws me off completely. So, I recommend underline for italics, but it's up to you, really. That's just what I prefer. Struck through is an odd one. You use the tilde key. Now, this one, it depends on your keyboard. Sometimes it's the button underneath escape. Sometimes it's that button shift. Sometimes it's the apostrophe key with shift or alt. And then on mine, it's shift and the pipe and backslash key. And that's what gives it me, which is weird. Now, you won't actually see the formatting of this. The way you see the formatting is with Pandoc. So to use Pandoc, you just start Pandoc. And we're in the working directory of this. Our file's called test.md. And we want to do an output, -0, or -o, should I say. And then we give it an output. So let's call it result.html. HTML. Now, it doesn't show anything here, but if we go into files here, we've got a file here called result.html. If we open that in the web, you'll see that what we said is all here. We've got a H1, we've got a paragraph, we've got a second paragraph, we've got bold, italic, and struck through text. If we actually view this page source to this, it is exactly just abbreviated HTML. And it writes out there's your H1 tag, your paragraph, your strong, your emphasis, and your delete. All nice and formatted. I'm going to keep that open so we can just refresh it. So that's the basic gist of the very basic formatting. Next, I'm going to show you how to do links. But before I do, I'm going to rule this off so that our link is in a new section. To do a rule, you just do a load of hyphens. More than 3 is enough. I just hold it down for a second or so, and you get that. So that'll create what is known as a hyperrule, or a H rule. And it's just a line that goes across the screen. So, to make a link, you specify the anchor text and insert the link aside it, like so. Text to become link. So that's the text that we want to become a link. And all you do is you put that text into square brackets, and then aside it, in normal brackets, you put the link. So we'll just use Google as an example. You put the absolute link there, and that'll actually create a link. So if we then just do that, we'll go over to the web and we just refresh that. You can see here we've got a link. Now I've actually already clicked a link on this particular page, I guess, to this. I don't know why it's done that, but anyway, it creates a link. Okay, nice and simple. Doesn't matter on the color, just because I've been to google.com before apparently. So links are nice and easy, and you can see here we've got our lovely hyperrule. So let's get on to lists. In HTML, you have 2 types of lists. You have unorganized and organized. Now I'm going to show this in a much more advanced, sophisticated way to show you why writing in Markdown for the web is a hell of a lot nicer than just writing the HTML itself. So we're going to create quite a complex list with sub-items. So to do an organized list, you just do numbers. So you do 1, this is the first item. This is a second item. And the 3 dot, this is a third item. Okay, so we've got our 3 items. So let's actually just have a look at this. You can see we've got a slight indentation here, which is expected. If we go to view page source, you can see here it's got organized list, style, and all that. You can change that style, by the way. And then it's got list item. This is the first item, list item, list item. Now, let's make it a bit more complex. Let's go back. I'm going to create a sub-item. I'm going to do an unorganized list within an organized list. Now, in HTML, this would be an absolute nightmare. In Markdown, it's piss easy. You start off with a hyphen, which means unorganized. You don't actually have to do these within an organized list. You can do these normally. This is a sub-item. Oops. This is another sub-item. That's nice and simple. And again, if we go over to here, we go over to the web, you can see now we've got an organized list and then an unorganized list within an organized list. If we go to the page source, you can see an organized list, and then it starts this unorganized list and then kills it halfway through, and it just looks really messy. And we're going to make this a little bit more complex because I'm going to add an unorganized list within an unorganized list within an organized list in this item here. So I'm going to do, this is an unorganized list. This is an unorganized list within one. I'm not going to write unorganized list again. I don't know if you can go a third. I've never really tried because I've never really needed it. And then if we render this to HTML, you'll see that yeah, you get an unorganized list, and then you get the thing, and it just gets messier and messier and messier. So if you do want an unorganized list just normally, then that's simple. Item 1, item 2, item 3. And you just do unorganized list outside of it. And you'll see here, we just refresh the page. You've got an organized list without that, and you can just have normal unorganized lists should you want them. Again, view page source. You can see the unorganized list tags here and here with the list items in between. It's very straightforward. So now I'm going to go on an area that a lot of tutorials on Markdown don't cover, and it's an area that I really like doing. This next bit is about tables. Oh, wonderful. This is an area that I don't see people talk about, and I think it's because tables aren't massively used. But I use tables quite a lot. I use them to show different things and just to organize times and stuff. Now, to write them in Markdown, to write them in HTML, it's a nightmare. But to write them in Markdown, it's mostly visual, and you've just got to keep a track on what you're typing. That's it. They're a little bit more complex than what we've done, but I guarantee learning this is really, really cool. So, to do tables, you use pipes. If you don't know what a pipe is, it's a vertical line. Now, there's two. There's I don't know what the other one called. I call it a broken pipe. There's one where it looks like 2 lines, and then there's one that looks like 1 line. You want the one that looks like 1 line. And you start, and then you just write column 1. We'll do 3 columns. Column 2, and we'll do a third one. Column 3. Now, that won't actually render a table because we now need to say that this is a head. So, the way you do it to a head is you do a pipe, and then you do a load of hyphens, a pipe, load of hyphens. You've got to do it so it's the amount of columns again, but done with hyphens. That will say now that we're starting a table, and then you do data 1, data 2, data 3, and then we'll do another one, more data. No, we won't write more data. We'll just write No, I know what we'll write. We'll just do that, okay? So, anyway, that's how you do a table. Now, if we render this out, and we'll go here, we press F5, you can see it does actually come up with a table. Now, it doesn't come up with the outlines, but again, if we go to view page source, you can see here, it's created all this table stuff, and it ends up looking like that, because it's followed the syntax of this. And although it looks a little bit crazy, it works. Now let's make this table a little bit neater, because it is a bit crazy. It is how to make it a bit neater. We're going to align it. This is the easiest way to do it, and we'll align them accordingly to where they are. So the one on the left will be aligned to the left, the one in the middle will be aligned centrally, and the one on the right will be aligned to the right. The way you align columns is using these hyphens. To align it to the left, you put a colon on the left. To assign it to the right, you put a colon on the right. To assign it centrally, you put a colon on either side of the hyphens, and that will align it centrally. So here we've got one aligned to the left, here's one aligned centrally, and here's one aligned to the right. And if we render that, and we go over to the web, and we press H5, you can see that everything just gets justified accordingly, and it's nice and simple. It really is as simple as that. Nice and easy. So that's how you do tables. Now, there are more complex things that you can do, but I'm not going to cover it. There are loads of guides online to that. TGI. Okay? So, on to the next bit. We've got our lovely HTML website here. What if we want to convert this to another file? Well, let's say we want to do it to a PDF. PDF. Result.pdf. Let's use MU. PDF. Result.pdf. And oh look, everything's the same. We've got H tag, we've got paragraph 1, paragraph 2, all that. There is one thing I'm missing, and I'm just going to add that in. And that's a block quote. That's what a block quote is. You just do a more than sign. And again, if we'll do it to oops, wrong. No, right. We'll do it to HTML. We'll go to the web, and you'll actually see that if we go to view page start, to the bottom here, we've got a block quote. I forgot to add that. I don't know why I forgot that one. It's really common. So that's how you do a block quote. And again, this translates again to PDF. So you can see there that it does actually do the indentation. You can see the tables are there with the alignments. All the text is formatted correctly. And this also works if you're using ODT. It doesn't work in doc for some reason. If we do ODT, which is Open Document Text, and then we'll go over to Files, you can see we've got an Open Document Text format here. Most of it's right. We've got the table, we've got the quote. It says quotation, we've got the strike through, we've got the list items. Oh, they've not got proper bullet points, but they work. We've got a table here in the middle, which is all aligned, as we said. In doc, some of this doesn't work. Mostly, if I just go to here, let's do .doc. There's one thing that doesn't work, and that is strike through. No idea why that actually doesn't strike it through. No idea. Everything else works, right? The quotations work. It says quotations. H1 works. The text works. Bold text, italic. The rules work. The lists work. It's just for some reason strike through doesn't work. Don't know why. Don't know why. To do images and stuff, by the way, Markdown uses inline HTML, so you can just put HTML tags in. There is a way of doing it. I'm not going to cover it in this tutorial because I never use it, to be honest. If you want to add images, I'm pretty sure it's just like an exclamation mark, like this, and then you just do the square brackets for alt text, and then in brackets you put link to image.png or whatever, right? And it renders it out. I'm pretty sure that's how you do images. I never use it. Let me just check. We'll do that. It's not going to do it. We'll just alt text. I don't actually know. I'm guessing so. It seems to have done that. I don't know. I don't think it's that. But anyway. Let's do that. Let's see if it does it in doc then. It'll probably just... Yeah, that's how you do it. It is. It's the exclamation mark. Yeah. I'm not going to do images because I don't really use them. But that's basically the entire gist of Markdown and why I use it to write my blogs and stuff. It's so quick, it's so easy, and when you're actually writing a massive long blog that's just full of text, one that is like this one that has block quotes, and I'm pretty sure there's like, is there not like italics? I'm sure there's one with italics. Anyway, you got all these links and stuff. This was a doddle to write in they were all so easy to write in Markdown. Even this page was written in Markdown and then just converted to HTML and thrown in to the template. It's simple. So, let me know if this has helped you in any way. I'm going to try and use Markdown a lot more for all my stuff. And I'll see you in the next video.